Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request. By the way, sorry if I move around a bit. I'm doing a series of videos where I don't know what happened. Something sprained some muscle, and it's just hard to sit, lie down. But I want to get these reviews done because it's the least I could do. So thank you for your patience and your general. A lot of people have. I'm going all over the place, so bear with me. If anyone wants to request any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, full playthrough, tier list ranking, movie review, re-review, play a game for an hour, full play, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. So this is... A lot of people have asked me about this movie, funny enough. There are people like Ted69 Spartan and other people who've asked about this, frame by frame. A lot of people have asked about this movie. Again, I'm sorry about the... If I shift around a bit. I know I'm like almost 2 minutes in, I haven't talked about it, but... Him... It's one of those films where it got a lot of hate. I can understand to a point where I have some discrepancies with the film, but then I see the way people verbalize it. It's the worst film of the year, and like they hate it so much. I'm sitting there going, I don't think it's that bad. Like, I think the thing with the film is that it's here when it could have been here. Now, people mentioned Jordan Peele's name. He was a producer. So he didn't direct the film. He didn't write the film or anything. And with Jordan Peele alone, I mean, I liked Get Out. I liked Nope. Did not like Us. But then he produced this. And Candyman, which he produced, was way, 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 way worse than this. Okay? But again, sometimes with producers, they just put their name on it and that's it. First and foremost, I gotta say Marlon Wayans was really good in this. I thought he was one of the best parts of the film. And the film, while I didn't love it, it was interesting at the very least. A flawed film, though, but I did think it was interesting. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say I would give it a thumbs up of a film, but at the same time, it's kind of like there where if you fixed a couple things, it could have been. Because I do think visually it's a really good looking film. I think there's some good ideas in there. I like the idea of a football horror film. That's an interesting take. Even the story, I didn't mind the direction they went in. It may be obvious, but I mean, there's only... With so many films that are made, there's only a certain amount of ways this plot could go. And whichever one you pick is going to be something you've seen before. Because, okay, the setup. The setup is, here's a guy who is going up in the realm of being a quarterback. He has an opportunity to join a team that his idol, the GOAT, quarterback Isaiah, played by Marlon Wayans, there's talks of he may retire. And he's a guy who's won like 8 or so championships. Our lead character gets hurt, but he wants to hide that a bit. He got hit in the skull. There's a bit like a staple thing. Someone's doing some haircut and hits it. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? But he really is gung-ho about getting this opportunity. In particular because his dad was very passionate about it when he was a kid, saying lines like, real men make sacrifices. and he watched football with his dad when he was a kid, so this is his opportunity. So he goes to this training camp, and he's going to spend about a week or so with his idol. And it's like this dome thing in the middle of nowhere, and then weird things start happening. He starts seeing things, and he's wondering, is it the CTE? Is there something else going on? And again, certain weird things are happening. Now again, even with that setup, there's only a number of ways it's going to go. It's going to go a supernatural route, demon, devil, made a deal with the devil. What was that one with the talk show, Late Night with the Devil or something? It was going to be It's All in Your Head, which is a number of movies that did that, but if I say the names, I'd be spoiling those movies, and it's all in the person's head, and or it's going to be some kind of cult thing. I mean, that's what Get Out was at the end of the day. It was this cult of people doing these things to switch races pretty much. I mean, there's only a certain amount of directions you could go with a setup like that. So people say, oh man, it went that way. I'm like, where else was it going to go? But I do think the journey could have been more with stronger writing and perhaps a better lead. Because the lead guy, he was one of the guys in the new I Know He Did Last Summer film. And I don't know if it's him or the way he was directed. Because it could be the director's fault. Because there are points where this guy is fine in showing emotional moments. For example, early on, there's a bit where day one is fun. They're practicing throwing the football. And then the next day or two, he keeps throwing and passing and failing. And so I thought this was a very interesting scene. Over here, there's a guy who has said yes to getting a football thrown at his head each time this guy fails. And he sees this, he's like, what the hell? Hey, don't fail then. And he's the kind of the tension of trying to pass, and he's yelling to people, come on! Dude, this guy's dying over here. Or there's a bit where he's playing and he gets kind of sacked or whatever. Marlon Wayans comes up and yells at him and goes, dude, you're the quarterback. You did all the glory, but you did all the defeat. Get your fucking shit together. And so when a guy goes after him, he bashes his head with, they're both wearing helmets. And when I'm talking about the visual, like there's like a point of view shots within the helmet, and when he bashes, like the guy's ready to come to hurt him. So before that happens, he's going to do it first. And like this bash of the helmets, you see like all an X-ray, like it's Mortal Kombat or something, the video game, the newer ones. Oh, wow, that looks really cool. And he's like, yeah, that's it. As in, hey, you're trying to hurt me, but I'm going to hurt you before you try to hurt me. Yeah, and he's getting really excited, and he's getting really angry and pumped up. I'm like, okay, those are good. But then there are moments in the film where he's too nonchalant about things that are going on. He's too... of things that he should not be nonchalant about. I'm like, I know he's capable of emotional stuff because we see spurts of that. So this is the director telling him, you need to be just emotionless. Again, so I don't know if it was the actor, but they're just too... whoever is to blame, there are too many times where he's nonchalant that he should be reacting more. Now again, I like the look of the film, the style, because there are times where it is edited like a music video, but I don't mind that because it's the way like the football highlights, like shows our lead character Cam, the camera highlights of the... And God, I forgot the lead character's name because I'm bad with names. I say this all the time. I'm bad with names. So let me get yeah, Young Cameron Camcade. So Cameron or Cam. By Tyriq Withers. So you see all these highlights of Cam in this music video style format. I thought, okay, that works fine for that. There's some nice transitions after the first day of practice, which is fun. He's having an ice bath and he's underwater soaking. And then, without missing a beat, the splash of water hits him and he wakes up, and we've transitioned to the next scene fairly seamless. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Again, when their POV of him in the helmet and even the cinematography, the lighting, I thought all that technically was really good. The movie was not 2 hours or over 2 hours long, so I wasn't bored with what was going on. I know some were bored with the film. I wasn't, because I liked the idea. I like the setup. It's good looking. It's not, again, overly long. Marlon Wayans playing this quarterback that's been there for a while. I thought he was really good. He showed in Requiem for a Dream that he could do dramatic work. I think he does another solid job here, playing a different type of character. And the first couple days of him training, I thought kind of intriguing to see where this was going to go. Okay, the day one's fun, so ease him into it and see if it will be an enjoyable time. And then also realizing it's going to be a big boot camp type of thing. And again, the guy didn't hit repeatedly. And the lead character's going, what the hell's going on? And then when it's all said there, Marlon Wayans says, how are you doing? It was an honor, sir. And then the lead guy kind of looking like, what the fuck? Hey, you okay? That whole setup I thought was an intriguing of how some look to others as an idol, that idol worship, how there's some fans or some worship, however you want to put it, that will seem to do anything for their passion or who they feel is the GOAT. Marlon Wayans, when he's saying, what are you willing to sacrifice? Everything! Well, then show me! And how sometimes you will see these highlights where coaches yell at players, and the tension and the pressure, and how that alone is horrific, let alone this weird shit going on. And then sometimes the lead character gets these hallucinations, and Marlon Wayans is saying stuff like, don't be me, be better. And I think the first half does a better job than the second half. It's just that when it gets to the second half, whether it was the director, the writing, whatever, they didn't go all the way. Like The Substance is an example of a film that had a cool concept, but really went all the way with it. This, again, maybe the lead actor was not enough to pull it off. Maybe the director. Because I will also check. What else did this director do? Justin Tipping. Alright, here's some tips for you. He did another film called Ticks, which I've never heard of. And he did some TV that I never heard of. I've never heard of any of these shows. Maybe for a reason. And did he write this film too? 3 writers. He was one of the writers. This is a film that has some really nice style, but doesn't have enough substance, no pun intended, in the second half. And it really, I think, could have elevated the movie if they delved a bit more into that. And I think really, maybe the anger. Well, I don't want to put words into people's mouths. I don't want to put dicks in their mouths either, especially my own. It's not my cup of tea. But, well, it depends. If they're, are you a lady? Are you single? Are you over 30? Then you're clean? Okay, then we'll make you go. But anyway, going off tangent. To explain a bit more, let me get into spoilers. Starting out spoilers. Just it was worth a watch. I didn't have this anger. It's just, oh man, this could have been better. I didn't hate the film. I didn't have vitriol for the film. It was interesting enough. Again, there's good aspects, the visuals, Marlon Wayans' performance, etc. What you come to find out is, throughout the film, the doctor who's among this camp is giving the lead character this injection, and you find out it's Marlon Wayans' blood. The reason being is a cult thing where there was this pact done long ago, and there's not a whole lot of detail on it, but then it's like, do you want a ton of detail and over-explain, over-exposition, or do you not? You could screw up either way. Pretty much when the time has come, you've had your chance, your fame, your money, whatever. Now it's up to a younger person to pass it on. So this blood was passed on to me from the guy before me, and is being passed on to you. And it turns good to better and better to best, to goated status. And then there's this ritual of kind of the old versus the new, where Marlon Wayans and the lead have a fight with each other. There's this party where the lead gets to see all the head officials of the team and mingle, and then have that choice of sign the dotted line and be part of this team. And also get the idea that his dad, who at this point isn't alive, but back in the day signed this deal. How that all came about, like did he know the owner? Can anyone just come up and say, hey, I want to have this deal? I don't know. But, again, it was about halfway through where I saw it kind of derail a bit. There's these things I just put in there just to be weird. Early on, there's this fat fan who's got, paint over him, which could have been utilized in a satiric way about how there are fans that some could be pretty crazy. There'll be 8 degrees outside and there'll be no shirt painted on. If you did a little bit more of a satiric on that stuff, that could have been interesting. But here it's just a fat guy going, in like weird slow-mo. It made it seem laughable, but not purposefully laughable. There's a crazy fan who likes Marlon Wayans' character, who tries to hurt the lead character. He fights her off, and Marlon Wayans throws her, and she gets hit on the wall and dies. And Marlon's good in the scene, the way he reacts to it, he's super serious, and he's like, oh my god, this fucking bitch. But the lead character is just too nonchalant. He saw that this guy threw this girl and she's dead. He's just like, I'm like, you have no reaction to that? Same with the Marlon Wayans' wife, and other women seem to seduce the lead guy in the scene. And then the next day, Marlon Wayans has a gun, and he's like, so, you fuck her, huh? You fuck her? And once again, the lead character is like nonchalant, like, I'm like, dude, be scared, be apologetic, be, fight or flight, have something on your face. You're too nonchalant for this. Just like you're too nonchalant about this one girl dying. Yeah, she was a crazy bitch that tried to kill you. So I'm not saying you have to cry for her, but have some kind of reaction. Like, the fuck? Or like something. One bit where you kind of... And your eyes has this kind of weary, you're like, what the fuck? Because more than likely, it's probably the first you saw a dead person. Like something, man. And again, I don't know if it was the lead actor or it was the way he was directed. Whichever one, that was an issue. So I didn't fully grasp onto the lead character like I did in Get Out, or I did in various other movies that deal with a assortment of horror thriller aspects. Even non-horror, like Any Given Sunday, Al Pacino and even Jamie Foxx and stuff, other people. And then Marlon Wayans was testing and frightening him, saying, "You shouldn't care. Because real killers don't give a fuck." I mean, Marlon Wayans brought it. This guy, he seemed outside of his lead, the lead guy. He just didn't seem ready for this. It seemed too big for his britches. Now, the other part, the writing... There should have been a lot more about his dad, the father aspect. And it's like they hint, but then they kind of dance around it. Because at the beginning of the film, they have him watching as a little kid with his dad, and there's a move that happens where a bone's sticking out, and the dad turns his head and goes, "Real men make sacrifices." It makes him see that bit of violence. But then you don't really hear about the dad for most of the film. Just him saying how, what my dad wanted this for me. There's a picture he sees of the dad shaking hands with the owner from long ago. But there should have been an ongoing aspect of him, the hallucinations. Some of them should have been about his dad. When he saw Marlon Wayans, maybe sometimes he would see his own dad. Because I think that's the aspect they should have gone with, is that Marlon Wayans is an inspiration to him, just like his dad was inspiration to him. But then you realize Marlon, as well as his dad, were toxic. They weren't that great. I should not lose my spirit, my life, everything about me because of him. Do you want to live because of what your dad wants? Or what Marlon wants for you? Or do you want to live your own life and your other family, like your mom and other people in your life, and be your own man? And so, this gradual bit where he's gung-ho about it, and then as time goes on, he doubts more about his dad. He sneaks out and talks to his mom and talks about, your husband, my dad, and starts questioning why am I doing this? Is this the best way to do it? Okay, maybe I love football, but do I love football for the right or wrong reasons? If you want to bring a bit more of the CT angle of is it CT, is it not, you can if you want. But I think the father aspect should have been a lot stronger. So by the end, him casting away Marlon Wayans is the same as him casting away his dad and saying, "No, I don't want to follow in your footsteps. You, the guy I looked up to, Marlon Wayans, or my dad." Same difference. That should have been more of a focus in the story and the script. I think that would have brought a bit more emotion to get behind the main character. At least for me. So then there's a point at the film where he's fighting Marlon Wayans, and it's supposed to be kind of this test. Who will win, the old or the new? If the new wins, then the past to get the opportunity if the old wins and they get one more year or something like that. But again, that should have been where, I don't know, he was either afraid of his dad or unsure of his dad, and then he's going to stand up to him. Marlon Wayans, like, he should have stood up to his dad, and it's not much of a fight. It's more Marlon Wayans beats the shit out of him, breaks one or two of his bones, and then the guy just hits him one time with the helmet. Like, one time, and Marlon Wayans goes down. Well, I should have been, he's getting beaten, and, you know, there's a bit of a struggle. Funny enough, I mean, they didn't do as much, but Hardcore Henry even did that better. There's a bit where, and granted, the dad aspect's not in a whole lot, but when it's in there, it seems still more prominent, where the dad tells Hardcore Henry, you know, sit there, bleeding and swallowing your own blood, or you don't go out there and spill theirs. Like something like that. They get some gun-ho and then ready to fight back. Like something about that. Or maybe he kept thinking of his dad, but now he starts thinking about his mom or other family, and then, you know, he's able to fight back. And the reason he gets strength is he's no longer thinking about his dad, or he's now he's thinking about his mom, or thinking about himself, or something like that. Or this someone will fight for me, or whatever. I think at the end of the lot more you could have done with that aspect. Then when he goes up, and they're kind of in on the, like, a field, and here's the contract, he kind of just goes, no. But something about it, like, it didn't have the impact as it should have. And then, on one hand, you get some blood and gore, and he kills the some of the cult members, which was interesting. To turn into kind of a different type of, you know, bloody, gory movie. There's one guy who cuts his fucking head off and stuff, and he wins, he kills him, but he killed him a bit too easily, I thought. Like, he was able to overcome this, like, a bit too... It made me go, so anyone could have done this in all the years past? Like, this... You killed all these people pretty... And granted, it was only, like, 4 or so people he killed, and that was it. And one of them, the girl, fell on her own knife, pretty much. I don't even know what she tripped on. Tripped on her clit? I don't know. But I just thought him killing that cult, which again, like 4 or so people, that was like too easy. Did it too easily. I think of like the end of Get Out, and that felt more like a struggle, more like a battle, more like a fight. And Get Out handled that. It handled the deeper themes, I thought, a bit better, and it handled the emotion a bit better, and it handled the finale a bit better. Is that a downbeat finale? He wins, he says no to the deal, he walks out, bloody, carrying a weapon, smiling, he's standing tall. But it has a bit of a quirky flavor to it. But I don't know, it feels like a reshoot. Because I know there's other endings where there's an ending where he did sign it and he got he signed it and he's now the new GOAT, and Marlon Wayans you find is still alive and he's all bruised up and he's kind of by himself, seeing how this guy's becoming him. I know that deleted scene's out there. It almost seems as if that's what they wanted the story to go in. But then this whole little massacre thing was a reshoot. I don't know. Maybe they thought, well, we don't want to... Which I'm I don't mind not having I'm usually the guy that's against depressing endings. So, but the flow wasn't there to get to that. The substance I thought worked on that. Get Out worked on that in terms of just, the journey felt like a better flow. This, again, I think different. Like if you had the guy Aronofsky who did Requiem for a Dream to do this, I think that story. And I don't love all of his movies either, but I still think he's made more better movies than this guy has. So maybe this director, writer was outside of his realm. And it's a shame because I do see the potential there, and I did find aspects of it interesting that I keep repeating. But I think it's worth one watch. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Let me say, if you think this is the worst film of the fucking year, when we've had 3 horror Popeye movies, we had that shitty Jurassic Park 7, and other ones I can't remember off the bat. Like, again, we've had some of those and others, and you think this is the worst film of the year? I'm sitting there going, you sure about that? You sure about that? So take that for you will. But with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.